What if the ancients left us warnings carved in stone, hidden in symbols, and buried beneath the sands of time, and we simply refused to listen? Across every corner of this earth, archaeologists have uncovered artifacts so mysterious, so puzzling, that mainstream science has no explanation for them. These objects carry messages, they hold secrets, and some believe they were left behind specifically to warn future generations about dangers yet to come. But here is the chilling truth. We found these warnings, we studied them, we photographed them, and then we ignored them. Tonight, we journey through 5 ancient artifacts that carry messages humanity chose to dismiss. Some of these objects are thousands of years old, some contain knowledge that should not have existed in their time, and some speak of events that are only now beginning to unfold. This is not fiction, this is history hidden in plain sight. Let us begin with the first artifact, one that was pulled from the bottom of the sea and shattered everything we thought we knew about ancient technology. In the year 1900, a group of Greek divers discovered a shipwreck near the island of Antikythera. Among the treasures recovered from the ocean floor was a corroded lump of bronze and wood. At first, no one paid attention to it. It looked like nothing more than ancient debris. But decades later, when scientists finally examined this object closely, they could not believe what they found. It was a machine, a mechanical computer, built over 2,000 years ago. The Antikythera mechanism, as it came to be known, contained over 30 bronze gears working together in perfect harmony. It could predict solar eclipses. It could track the movement of planets. It could calculate astronomical events with stunning accuracy. This was not supposed to exist. According to mainstream history, humans did not possess such technology until over 1,000 years later. Yet here was proof, pulled from the sea, that an ancient civilization understood the heavens in ways we are only now beginning to comprehend. But here is what troubles researchers most. The mechanism was not the first of its kind. The craftsmanship was too advanced. The engineering was too precise. This machine was clearly built upon generations of knowledge that came before it. So, where did that knowledge go? Who possessed it? And why did it vanish so completely that humanity had to reinvent it centuries later? Some believe the Antikythera mechanism was a warning, a reminder that knowledge can be lost, that civilizations can fall, that everything we build can be swallowed by time if we are not careful. And yet, we displayed it in a museum, marveled at its beauty, and continued living as though we had learned nothing. The second artifact takes us to the burning sands of ancient Mesopotamia, to a collection of clay tablets that tell a story so old it predates every civilization we know. The Sumerian king list is one of the most mysterious documents ever discovered. Carved into stone and clay thousands of years ago, it records the names of kings who ruled the lands between the rivers before recorded history began. But here is where it becomes unsettling. The earliest kings on this list are said to have ruled for impossibly long periods, tens of thousands of years each. Some reigned for over 40,000 years. The list speaks of a time before a great flood, when the world was different, when humans lived differently. Then comes a single line that sends chills down the spine of every researcher who reads it. The flood swept over the earth. After this line, the reigns of kings become shorter, more human, more believable. It is as though something fundamentally changed after that flood, as though humanity itself was reset. The Sumerians were not the only ones who recorded this great deluge. The story appears in ancient Babylon, in Hindu texts, in Chinese legends, in indigenous traditions across the Americas. Cultures separated by oceans and centuries all speak of a time when the waters rose and the world was cleansed. Were they all telling the same story? Were they all warning us about what had happened before? And more importantly, were they warning us about what could happen again? We found these tablets, we translated them, and then we filed them away as mythology, as primitive imagination, as stories too fantastic to take seriously. But what if the ancients were not making up fairy tales? What if they were preserving memories of real catastrophes, begging future generations to remember, to prepare, to stay humble before the forces of nature? The third artifact is perhaps the most visually stunning of all. Deep within the ancient temple complex of Dendera in Egypt, carved into stone walls that have stood for thousands of years, there exists an image that has baffled researchers for over a century. It appears to show a giant bulb. Inside the bulb is a serpent, stretched out like a filament. The bulb is connected to a pillar that resembles a modern electrical insulator, and standing beside it is a figure holding the device with careful precision. To the untrained eye, it looks exactly like an ancient depiction of an electric light. Mainstream Egyptologists dismiss this interpretation. They say it is merely a religious symbol representing creation mythology, but others point to the underground chambers beneath the pyramids, chambers with no trace of soot on the ceilings, and ask a simple question. If the Egyptians worked deep underground, painting elaborate murals and carving intricate hieroglyphics, how did they see what they were doing? Torches would have left soot, oil lamps would have left residue, yet the ceilings are clean, perfectly clean. Was there another source of light, a technology we have forgotten, a knowledge that was buried when the old world fell? The Dendera carvings seem to whisper a secret. They seem to say that the ancients possessed understanding we have lost, and perhaps that understanding was taken from us for a reason. Perhaps we were not ready. Perhaps we are still not ready. The fourth artifact was created by a man who lived 5 centuries ago, yet the map he drew should have been impossible to make. In 1513, an Ottoman admiral named Piri Reis compiled a world map using ancient source documents that he claimed dated back to the time of Alexander the Great and beyond. When modern scholars examined this map, they were stunned. The map showed the coastline of South America with remarkable accuracy. It depicted mountains in the Andes that had not yet been explored by Europeans. And most mysteriously of all, it appeared to show the coastline of Antarctica. But not Antarctica as it exists today, covered in miles of ice. The map seemed to show Antarctica as it would look without ice, with rivers, with bays, with a terrain that matches what modern satellite imaging has revealed lies beneath the frozen surface. This is impossible. Antarctica has been covered in ice for millions of years. No human being should have been able to map its true coastline, unless someone did, long ago, before the ice came. What ancient civilization possessed the ability to map the entire world? What ships sailed those forgotten seas? What eyes looked upon lands that have been frozen for ages beyond memory? Piri Reis himself wrote that he used source maps of great antiquity. Maps that came from a time before the world we know. Maps that carried knowledge from a lost age. We found this map. We studied it. We recognized its impossible accuracy. And then we set it aside, because accepting its implications would mean rewriting everything we believe about human history. The fifth and final artifact is not made of stone or bronze or clay. It is made of words. And it claims to contain the secrets of the universe itself. The Emerald Tablet is one of the most influential mystical texts in human history. Its origins are shrouded in mystery. Some say it was found clutched in the hands of Hermes Trismegistus in a hidden cave. Others say it dates back to ancient Egypt, to a time when wisdom was passed down in sacred temples. Its message is short but profound. It speaks of the relationship between heaven and earth. It speaks of transformation. It speaks of hidden knowledge waiting to be discovered by those who are worthy. One line has echoed through the centuries, repeated by scholars and seekers of truth for thousands of years. As above, so below. This simple phrase contains a universe of meaning. It suggests that the patterns of the stars reflect the patterns of the earth, that the macrocosm mirrors the microcosm, that everything is connected in ways we are only beginning to understand. The Emerald Tablet was a message, a teaching, a guide for humanity to find balance between the material and the spiritual. But instead of embracing its wisdom, we became obsessed with the material world. We forgot the connection between heaven and earth. We ignored the balance we were meant to maintain. And now many believe we are living with the consequences of that forgetfulness. These 5 artifacts share something in common. They all suggest that ancient peoples possessed knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that we have lost. They all carry messages that we have failed to heed. They all warn us that the path we are walking has been walked before, and that it does not always lead to a good destination. But here is the beautiful truth that brings peace to the heart. It is not too late. In the teachings of faith, we are reminded that every generation is given a chance to return to the straight path. The door of repentance is always open. The mercy of the Creator is greater than all our mistakes combined. The ancients warned us because they cared about those who would come after, and we still have time to listen. We still have time to remember. We still have time to humble ourselves before the one who created the heavens and the earth and everything between them. The artifacts are not just relics of the past, they are mirrors reflecting back to us the question we must all answer. Will we learn? Will we remember? Will we return to the wisdom that the ancients tried so desperately to preserve? The choice is ours, and the one who sees all things is watching. May we be among those who listen. May we be among those who remember, and may we find peace in the knowledge that no matter how far humanity strays, the path back to truth is always illuminated by the light of divine guidance. The ancients left their warnings carved in stone and buried in the earth. Now it is our turn to decide what we will leave behind.